Come in the first one. Yeah, not bad, really.
Hello.
Hello. I thought maybe you were going to go over and lie down on the couch. Take.
Just tidying up the space you can see.
I know. I felt the
Space you
same way.
can't see is hopeless.
Yep. Yeah, we tend to forget about that sort of thing when suddenly it's behind you on the Zoom.
Yeah, yeah. So how's everything?
As well as can be expected, I think. It's a beautiful day out, which is great.
Hi.
Hi, Janie.
Hi, guys. I agree. It's beautiful.
I was beginning to think I was the only one and I was at the wrong place.
Hey, Deb.
Hey,
So Greg is not really excited at all about doing a presentation for us.
Greg. Oh, yes.
However, he's excited for the camera club to do
Yes.
a presentation for us. And they are excited. They're excited about doing a presentation. And so I'm going to hook up with the president of their club. Do you still want me?
Sorry.
It's okay. Do you still want me to invite them to come on March 3rd, or are you reserving that date for specifically a vocational?
You know what? Would they be available to do it?
I can ask.
I mean, okay. See if because I think it would be very interesting. And, that's part of what we do. At this point in time, I don't have anybody lined up for March 3rd.
Okay.
And so that would be great. I'd appreciate that. I think it fits the sort of the intent of the vocationals, and it would fit right now in our, if you will, our lineup, or if you will, the number of people that are ready to do a vocational. Sometimes our newer board member or our newer Rotarians are they're hesitant to do a vocational, and I think it would be better for them to get comfortable with what the cadence of the club is. And I think once they see that this is a pretty informal group, that it isn't as intimidating as they might initially think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
Okay,
so,
so-
he doesn't have to do one. For him, if the camera club did something, that would be very interesting, I think.
I think it would be too, and I think we're going to see some really cool pictures during the
Yes.
presentation.
Yes.
And they do some interesting things, some like challenges, which it's really kind of fun to see what they come up with for a challenge. And anyway, I'll get back to you via email if they will take that date. Okay.
Okay, that would be great. All right.
Okay,
Thanks, Jamie.
thanks.
I appreciate your sensitivity to his comfort level and we're willing to explore. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you.
Mhm.
Good
Did you
morning.
get your hair cut, Valerie? It's
I
cute.
did. I
It's
did.
very cute, very
It's
sassy.
kind of, yeah, well, it's kind of slowly going up and up, you know how that goes. Easy, easy.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Yes.
When I had it long, all I do is pull it back anyway. So, what's the point? So, yeah. Is Tommy on here today? I need to get some, I went out to the trees the other day to check on the trees. And of course, unfortunately, there's like a water. It's, we wouldn't hate to think that we have to worry about our trees needing water in the middle of the winter. But anyway, Tony Meekin was going to go up and mulch them and check on the water level to see how they're doing. But I need to find some pictures for Tony. And I thought I had downloaded them from the Facebook page for the Rogue, and I can't find them. So can you still get to the Facebook page and get the pictures for the tree plant down off that? Does anybody know? Janie, you might know.
Janie,
Janie,
I
do you
think
know?
would know.
The Facebook page, if I need to download some pictures that were back in December from the tree plant, will they still be there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I thought I probably did download them somewhere, but I lost them. And so I need to get them. I need to redo it so that I know where they are so that I can send them to Tony Meekum because he wants to put them in the city's site.
Cool.
So, and I will give you an update on the trees if we, and how they're doing as we continue on. And I also need to talk about how much money was left because I really would like to do something up there, a sign for Rotary and a bench of sometime down the road.
Wonderful.
Well, good morning and welcome. Okay, looks like it's time to start the meeting. Okay, I'm going to mute everyone. Okay. Okay, and we welcome everybody to our first meeting in February. So welcome, and to start us off with the meeting pledge, Jody McDonald, please.
Thank you. Please follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fantastic, and thank you. Deborah Mean, an inspiration for the day, please.
Okay, can you hear me? All right, do I have to do a #6?
You're good to go.
I'm good to go. All right. I would like to share a poem with you this afternoon by Will Allen Drumgoole, and it is The Bridge Builder. An old man going a lone highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide, through which was flowing a sullen tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim, the sullen stream had no fear for him. But he turned when safe on the other side, and he built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, you're wasting your strength with building here. Your journey will end with the ending day. You never again will pass this way. You've crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build this bridge at evening tide? The builder lifted his old gray head. Good friend, in the path I've come, he said, there are followed me after me today, a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm that has been not to me, to that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I'm building this bridge for him. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for letting me know that my screen is blank. Got that figured out? I'm in this big black tunnel, I guess is what it is. Okay, so appreciate that. You know, I was out this afternoon or this morning with my sister. We were out at the Ross Road tree plant. And when you hear that bridge builder, that really brought back memories for me of Dad. And it's such an appropriate one for all of us as Rotarians about building bridges.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lots of gray hair around the room.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So for Rotary Minute, I thought I'd talk about our Rotary theme for February. And this month is peace and conflict resolution and prevention. Preventing conflict right now in the world today, I think, has probably never been more important than what we're doing. But our club has embraced this theme with our work with the Rotary Foundation and our own monthly book themes. And we focused these subjects, and we work to understand and appreciate each other and Rotarians and community members, especially with the 4-way test. In our world today, over 70 million people are displaced as a result of conflict, violence, persecution, and human rights violation. And unfortunately, half of these are children. And Rotarians refuse to accept conflict as a way of life. It's about bridge building, as we just heard about. And Rotary projects provide training to foster understanding and provide communities with the skills to resolve conflicts. And Rotary creates these environments of peace by being a humanitarian organization, and it's a cornerstone of our mission. We believe that when people work together to create peace in our communities, that change can have a global effect. Our service projects and supporting peace fellowships and scholarship, our members each take action to address the underlying causes of conflict, including poverty, discrimination, ethnic tension, lack of access to education, and unequal distribution of resources. And we have new challenges, and how we bring about this impact is our vision of lasting change. And we're approaching this concept of peace with greater cohesion, broadening the scope of what we mean by peace building and bridge building. Rotary creates environments where peace can happen. Are there any visiting Rotarians or guests?
Yes, Steve, my wife Jolene is on her second visit to our club. So
Okay.
I want to say hello to her.
Hey, thank you for that. Welcome back from your vacation. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like I see everybody. I kind of remember if there's a name that doesn't appear, remember the engagement committee will reach out to you. If you have any questions, feel free to put a question on the chat. For our Asante Healthcare update, Wynn, would you like to talk to us about what's new in the community regarding healthcare, COVID, and et cetera?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. So good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests and future Rotarians. So glad that you're here. Thought I'd share a couple things with you this afternoon. As of this morning, Oregon had about right around 1,150 COVID patients, which is about 10% higher than 2 weeks ago. 197 of those are in critical care, 89 are on ventilators. Of those in the state, 122 are in Jackson and Josephine County, with 22 of those patients in critical care. Three Rivers, as of a couple of hours ago, had 27 patients with COVID. 5 of those are in critical care. Our hospital this morning was at 105% capacity with some single rooms on the 3rd floor. When I say single rooms, these are private rooms where we're now putting 2 people in 1 room, which is completely unprecedented. We're back to doing that again. We had 12 people in the emergency department that were waiting for a bed to open up at some point, which seems to be common experience now for a long time. The good news is that the surge is expected to peak in the next couple of days and then quickly go down, which that is something we're definitely looking forward to. And I think we're all looking for it to completely go away for so many different reasons, for sure. Last month, I shared with you things around well-being, and I want to talk a little bit about that again this afternoon. I had an opportunity to spend time with a provider earlier this week, and it completely broke my heart. And they shared a story about one of their peers that during the Delta surge over a 2-month period, that this peer of theirs actually was involved in 60 people losing their life to COVID, and they had to essentially pronounce 60 people. And this has completely had an impact on them, and they're still struggling with it. I mean, you just don't expect to do this. I mean, this is not what you sign up for. So much death and challenge. And I've heard from many nurses as well that have had to deal with death at a level that's, you would think that has happened in a month, would they experience in like 5 years. Super, super challenging. So as I've been taking this course, I shared with you a couple weeks ago, taking this 12-week webinar series on well-being through Duke University. It's kind of like thinking like when you're many of us travel, right? So you get on the airplane and the flight attendant says, in the unlikely event that we lose cabin pressure, a mask will drop down from the ceiling. Please place the mask on yourself prior to helping others. In this situation, what I'm learning is how we can help ourselves first, how we can take care of ourselves first, so then we can then help others. And I think it's super important, and the research proves the importance of taking care of yourself, and then also having those supportive relationships with others, like people in our club, having open communication. I had a meeting with someone this morning, just as a check-in, just to hear their heart, and because they were struggling. I mean, really, totally struggling. They don't report to me as none of that. I was more about me, concerned about their well-being. And I think we need to figure out ways to foster positive emotions. And as I said before, I'm learning a lot about being grateful and the importance of being grateful. So once again, like I did last time, I have an assignment for you today. Please put in the chat function one good thing that's happened so far to you this week, and put it out there and share it. It's a habit that actually is proven. There's science papers and research done about gratitude makes a difference for your own well-being and also has a positive impact on your health. So take it away, Steve.
Hey. Well, before I do that, I'm going to put my comments in the chat too.
Okay. Take your time then, Mr. President.
Thank you. And the course you talked about also, you provided the link, and in the Navigator this week, underneath in the very top part of the Navigator, where it's right underneath, you're in the agenda, I put the link for the course that you're doing through Duke University. And so if any member want to takes this course for their own well-being, that would be an opportunity for them to go to that source and take that course themselves.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, so that is there. Thank you. It is so important right now.
Mhm.
Valerie, Grants Pass City Council update, please.
Yes, can you hear me? Can't tell if
Perfect.
they're on mute. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it short and positive. We had a meeting last night. We had this huge 369 page, very technical thing on changing some of the codes for planting and stuff, but we pushed it off till the next 2 weeks because it was way too long and technical to jump into. But we started building our climate task force, so I'm really excited about that. We are still out. We went back out to find a solar professional and an RCC student. So anybody interested, and I think a forester was another person interested in working with the city to find ways to be more climate friendly, ways to become more efficient. So I'm excited for that task force to happen. And we're also in the process of building a committee to look at Caveman Plaza, the town center, and come up with some ideas of the possibilities that might be there. We're hiring Sarah, SERA, which is an urban planner out of Portland, to help work for 6 months with a task force to look at what the options are down there. So I'm very excited for that as well. So there's some fun things going on out in the community, and we are looking for people to work with us. And then I also wanted to say we honored Dick Maddie. I don't know if any of you know Dick Maddie. He's been a member of our community for many, many, many years, and has been on the Parks Committee. He was, I think, in the very beginning stages. So we honored him last night. We're putting a plaque out at the soccer field at Reinhardt Park. So if you see him or you're around him, tell him congratulations, but a perfect, wonderful leader in our community. So it was great to honor him last night. And unless there's any questions, that's it for me.
Okay. Any questions for Dawn? Or excuse me,
Valerie.
Valerie.
So
I just saw
it's-
Dawn's name in the chat. That's what
Okay.
made me think of that. Okay. Well, thank you. Well, now we've got some things happening, exciting things happening in our club right now. One of the things that's upcoming very, very quickly is a Super Bowl pool. We know the Super Bowl pool is being played. Greg, would you like to update us on that, please?
Just real quickly, you should have gotten an email from the DACTV P-mail, personal mail system yesterday. We are gathering door prizes, and Patty Toronto is in charge of that. She'll be collecting them, and then we'll later distribute them. We're going to have a virtual watch party. It doesn't mean that you have to be in the virtual watch party to win, but we are into our second pool. The first pool is full, so we will have at least one Paul Harris Fellow Award winner. Same deal for the second pool, just a chance for more squares, so you can increase your chances of winning both the Paul Harris Fellow Award and the door prizes. We'll be getting out advertising companies, both local, thanks to Janie, because the Super Bowl is on Janie's station, also known as KOBI5 NBC. And they have donated some swag for gift door prizes. So we are up to about 48 different door prizes. And one of those is an extra 25 Paul Harris Fellow Award matching recognition points. So those will always be there. Keep the prizes coming if you want to follow that email, and it'll tell you how to contact Patty, or you can contact her through DACTV, and we will get that organized. So everyone will get assigned a local company and a national company that is advertising. And if your ad comes up, the first ad, the first national ad or the first local ad of any commercial break between the national anthem and the commercial break after the game ends, you will get a choice of a door prize via email after that. So let's all keep buying those squares with the $25 donations per square. Fishwick's famous 5th square free if you buy 4, an extra square if you sign up for Rotary Direct, and matching Paul Harris Fellow Award points for the first $25 to $100 donated to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund. Thanks.
Thank you. Lots of opportunities to win, and I appreciate all your efforts to make the foundation successful. Jody, you have a new one for our latest Rotary project on the shoes. Would you like to talk about that? Jody McDonald, please.
I do. I know Rotary does great works all around the United States, all around the world, but for me, it's important to stay local. And so my passion is that with the backpack program and now Shoes That Fit. Shoes That Fit, I became aware of them when the bank participated with Sunny Wolf Charter School, and we donated shoes to every child in that school. Well, Shoes That Fit is an organization that's a nonprofit based in Claremont, California, and they provide new shoes to low-income children. The mission of Shoes That Fit is to tackle one of the most visible signs of poverty in America by giving children in need new athletic shoes. You know, for kids, that is a very common thing. You know, you see these rag shack shoes and stuff that kids are wearing, and I'm sure they get teased and bullied a lot. So to be able to give that kind of pride back to the kids is fabulous. So our board met and decided on partnering with Evergreen Elementary School in Cave Junction this year for this program. The school will decide on the children that are most at risk after we have a final tally of how many shoes we will be donating. We've got $1,000 for this project at this time, $500 from the club, $500 from a district grant, which will provide 33 pairs of shoes at $30 a pair. These are name brand shoes also, so it's not like they're getting knockoffs. I'm trying to make contact currently with Delia Warner from the Illinois Valley Rotary Club to see if they would like to participate and fund additional shoes. We could use monetary donations for additional shoes ourselves, maybe socks to go along with them, that type of thing. Of course, socks could be a little iffy. We're going to have to kind of wait and find out what sizes we're going to be dealing with, depending on if there are multiple grades that we're going to be giving shoes to. The program is really cool. Shoes That Fit, once we are set and ready to go, Shoes That Fit will actually contact Evergreen Elementary to tell them how to go about sizing the kids for the shoes, etc. They'll send them a template and that type of thing for the measurements. Then after they get that information back, now what happened with me was when we did it, we were right in the midst of COVID. We couldn't go out to the school. So I had Shoes That Fit send the shoes to me. Then we went ahead and we tagged all the shoes because they send little stickers with the kids' first name and last initial and, you know, what size they're supposed to be, et cetera, so that we know what shoes goes, you know, can be given to which child. So we were able to do that, but then we had to just drop them off at the school, and the school then did the distribution. The fun part is when, and I'm hoping this year we're going to be able to do that. The fun part is not only just doing the tagging on the boxes of the shoes, but actually being able to be with the children, sizing them, putting them in their brand new shoes, tying their shoes up, seeing the joy on their faces. So fingers crossed that we'll be able to do that. And even if that's a limited number of people, I bet we could have a whole group of people there to be able to cheer on and see the looks on the kids' faces and stuff. So we've got that going. So anyway, it's a great program. Looking forward to it. I'd love to be able to try to do it sometime. Originally, I was thinking about around Valentine's Day, but of course, we had our backpack program and all sorts of other things going on. So maybe trying to shoot for around spring break or right after spring break when the kids come back from school and would be able to get to wear their new shoes. So anyway, I'm very excited about that. We've got things going. Like I say, the shoes are $30 a pair. So if you're interested in donating, please do. And then just make sure when the funds go in that they are designated for Shoes That Fit so that Laurel knows where to tell me how much we've got. So anyway, that's what we've got coming up here very, very soon.
Okay, thank you for that update, Jody, and also for your efforts to make that successful.
You bet.
We'll appreciate that as well as their families. Bonnie, you have a couple updates on the men's clothing drive as well as the Humane Society, please.
So I think in the Navigator, you put the flyer for the Humane Society. It's their big fundraiser for the year, or one of their big ones, and it's around Valentine's Day. And you go online and you order for $10 and you get a rose with a note and something sweet, and they put it all together for you, and then volunteers will be delivering them all next week. Probably not on Valentine's Day, but probably the week leading up to it. But there's a link, and if you can't find it, you can email me. But that is one of their major fundraisers, and I told them that I would ask if I could just broadcast it to y'all. So that's what that is. If you're interested in supporting the Humane Society with their fundraising effort, it's $10 per gift that you do. And I don't know much about it because I haven't done it myself, but I will be delivering some of those roses around Grants Pass, I think on next Thursday. That's that. And then the other thing we talked about with the men's clothing drive for working with the food bank in Patrice, there's a need for men's clothing in Wolf Creek. So I will get the clothes to Patrice and she will get them to the right person who will get them to Wolf Creek. And there's a detailed how to clean out your closet, men, and get the things together, and I will pick them up, or Steve is going to have a barrel at his business, and I will have a bin outside my gate off of Upper River Road. So you'll have 3 opportunities. The main thing is you've got about a little over a week. I think I fly in on the 9th, which is a Wednesday. So I'll start collecting the 10th through the 17th, and then it'll give me the weekend to sort them into sizes and items. And then I'll take them on Monday to the food bank, and then she will move them on from there. So you've got a short window, but sometimes I feel like that's actually better, so you won't put it off, men, when you clean out your closet. So be sure and read through the thing that's in the Navigator that I worked very hard to make it very easy for you. And those are my 2 things.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully you made it easy enough for me.
Counting on it.
Well, thanks. And the vocational service nomination, Dawn Welsh.
Yes, so we know that every year we give the Vocational Service Award to an individual who is not a Rotarian, and this year is no different. I think it's kind of neat that we're going to do it on a day that we have a Service Above Self Student Award winner. So we'll have a young person who does service above self, and then an adult professional who also does the same sorts of things, sort of a model. So what we're asking people to do with a deadline of February the 24th is to submit names of people you feel would be worthy of this award. And just as it's in the e-Navigator, but other than the fact that the nominee needs not or shouldn't be a member of Rotary, they need to live in Josephine County, have achieved distinction through exceptional leadership, creativity, and/or effort in their profession, business, and/or community service, and that they demonstrate really the 4-way test. So think about this, provide nominations, and you can email me with those nominations. We have a small committee that will get together. So by February the 24th, hand in your suggestions, the committee will get together, and then we'll have the distinct opportunity to honor somebody in our community. All right, that's it.
Okay. Are there any other announcements about community or club activities that we should be aware of? There's more information about this in the e-Navigator, including the location for the blood drives. If you want to order home COVID test kits, that link is in there. Just a lot of different things as far as what's happening in our community and our club. So check out that for things, as well as the different forums that might help you out. So one of the things that we enjoy for our programs is once a month, we have a monthly vocational. And our vocational this month is going to, sometimes it's new members. And in this case, it's going to be a charter member of our club. And the charter member is Brenda Patton. And Brenda's going to tell about her, she's got a long service of Rotary, both on a district and a club level, and just what's important to her about that. So because of bandwidth issues, she and I are going to trade places right now. And she's here at the dealership. And so she's going to do this. So what we're going to do now is make a slideshow. Okay, so now share screen. Okay. So which screen do we see right now?
We're seeing the making of a rainbow grandmother.
Perfect.
We've got the title slide.
Okay. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you. It's so good to be here with live bodies, or at least one live body. And I had put this together a little over 2 years ago. No, not quite 2 years ago.
It was the beginning of COVID. It seems like it was a million years ago, but I really want to focus on how being a Rotarian has been a main thrust in what I call my rainbow grandmother work, which is just being a grandmother to all children everywhere in the world. And I have found so many compatriots in Rotary, both rainbow grandmothers and rainbow grandfathers, who actually share the same passion and do the same work. It's wonderful. It's very satisfying, and I feel like we truly are making a difference. But so I'm going to jump around. I'm going to try to jump around, which is really a foolish thing for me to do because I get less and less proficient at technology as I get older, and I am getting older. So I want to start with having joined Rotary. And I know that is, and I practiced a little bit before we did this, but slide 22, and I don't think there was a, and so I went past it. 20. Okay. So this is a very classic picture of our, what do we call it? Our, what was that? Our
Charter dinner?
Charter dinner. Our charter dinner, May the 5th, 1992. And at our head table, we had Phil Hart and Bill Hayden. It's a wonderful picture. I'm very proud of my membership certificate. Rotary has been such a wonderful opportunity in my life to be the best version of myself. And I have discovered, as I'm looking and finding that best version of myself, is that Rainbow Grandmother best describes it. But when I was asked to join Rotary, women hadn't been in the club for very long, and it still had the misconception. Actually, it wasn't a misconception. Rotary was an old men's club, and it was a lot different than it is now. But when I was asked to join, Phil Hart, Roger Harding took me out for coffee and suggested that I might want to be a charter member, and I was honored that they would think of me, but I said, I cannot see me as a Rotarian. I'm not anything like what I think Rotarians are. And they said, well, we want to change the face of Rotary, and you're one of the faces. And I thought, well, far out. If I don't have to be anybody other than me, I can get behind it, especially after they showed me the four-way test and the object of Rotary. I thought, this is a no-brainer. This is how I want to live my life. And so I said, yes, I would do it. It was very exciting. But I wasn't real comfortable at first. One of the things we were supposed to do was go to a meeting of another Rotary club. And it took me a long time to do that because I go, okay, I know these people. And even then I was a little bit uncomfortable because I judge, I would feel like I was being judged, and me being judged by people that were so different than me, or so I thought, made me uncomfortable. But little by little, in fact, the more I got out among other Rotarians, as much as I love our club, and I do love our club, just watching the first part of our meeting today, the love in my heart, the admiration, the absolute amazement of the caliber of people in our club is overwhelming. And it's a wonderful club, and each club is a little different. They all have their own flavor. And it took me a while to get involved at the district level. But when my granddaughters were in high school, they joined Interact. And my one granddaughter became a representative to the district interact group and needed transportation. I had 4 grandkids. Each one of them had different activities. And so there was always need for extra driving people around. But going to these events, I realized just how awesome it was and how awesome these young people were that were involved in Rotary activities. And I was so turned on that I was sold. There was no going back for me. And of course, Interact goes into RILA goes into Youth Exchange, every kind of youth program there is, I became involved in. And being involved with these young people over the years, and for so many years now, they're grown up, they're all over the world, because we've had exchange students come down every December to take part in what we call the World's Trade Fair and the interviews for the next year's outbound students. And they've become friends, Facebook friends, and many of them are in their 30s now. So I have young people all over the planet that I'm close to. And as a rainbow grandmother, I'm so very grateful that we have the kind of connection that we do around the world. And I wish my connection was a little better. When I have very little broadband, and of course I'm getting less and less proficient at this, but I have other young people in my life that help me keep it together. So that's another benefit of being involved with young people. But I've been involved at the district level for 12 years now, and I love it. And of course, I love our club dearly. There's so many wonderful new people that I'm really anxious to get to know better. And I'm sure I will. And I find that it is wonderful to be able to be involved in an organization that wants to do so many things, but you don't end up having to do a lot of anything. In fact, I don't even think I have enough to do, because I feel like I don't, with COVID being what it is, it's hard to have the involvement that you want. But everything we do is not only meaningful and important in so many lives, but it's so much fun. And being able to interact with the wonderful group of people that I interact with is just life enhancing. Our Rotary Club just keeps getting better and better and better. We started out wonderful, but we've just gotten better and better. There's fewer and fewer of us charter members. There's Steve and Debbie Brownell, myself, Mike Bird,
Carla Robertson.
Yeah, Carla, who doesn't get to the meetings that often, and Harry that we lost recently. But these are really, really tight family to me. And then there's so many more that have been joining us as we go along. And many of them are people that I'm involved with from other events in my life. I have been here in this community for 50 years now. And I have been involved in a lot of different groups within our community. So that takes me to where, and I'm keeping my eye on the time. My first 30 years, I was 30 years old when I first got into Rotary. And the first 30 years were, just some of the things that happen in life, like being born. I was born in 1941 in Los Angeles. A picture of me and my mother and my dad. basically a pretty toxic family. My little sister was born in 44 while my dad was gone in the Merchant Marines during World War II. I don't think of my childhood as especially a pleasant time, but I certainly found growing up, this was my mother and my father and my maternal grandparents. And then I graduated from Burbank High in 1958. I got married to my best friend in high school, Walt, in 1960. And we had 3 children. That is probably the most important thing that came out of that time in my life, is my 3 children, who are wonderful individuals. My daughter just turned 60, and my youngest son is 58. And then I've got one in the middle who's 59. So I had them pretty close. They're all successful, healthy, wonderful people, very conservative, or at least 2 of them are very conservative, which means we have some interesting family gatherings. But it has taught me that you can love anybody, regardless of where they stand politically or religiously or whatever. But these wonderful children went on to have wonderful children themselves. So I have been blessed. And in addition to, these are my 3 when they were young. I helped put my first husband through college. He graduated from Cal Poly Pomona and then UCLA with his bachelor's, his master's and his bachelor or doctorate degree. But our marriage, we started going in different ways, and I ended up moving to Tacoma in 1971, which was really a major shift in my life, and I loved it. I came from middle-class suburbia into the wilds of Southern Oregon, and this is where I met my future husband, Jan. And in the fall of 75, we moved to Grants Pass to attend RCC. And this is Jan and I when we got married, look a little younger there than we do now. But I went to RCC. I started off taking early childhood education because I wanted to help change the world. And I figured it would be with young kids. And but I also found that you don't have a whole lot of power as the caregivers for young people, that there's all the people that control the money are the ones that have all the power. So I thought, well, I got to go where the money is. So I took tax preparation and I ended up getting my tax license and started my own business and ended up 42 years later having had a successful business and wonderful, wonderful clients. And so many of the people that I've met over that time have become so special to me. And many of them are Rotarians right now. I was in a women's group that Sue Orris, there's Vicki Willis, she was Vicki Saul, Vicki Kretschmar, Andrea Beardsley, Ellen Levine, Patty Kramer. Lutz is in our club. Patty and Lutz were married, or the ones that raised their family before they found different partners in life. But I certainly had a wonderful experience, and I see myself as having had a large exposure to our community. And our community is very, very important to me. And I find that being in Rotary helps me to be a part of something that makes our community a lot better and a lot stronger, which, having been involved in nonprofits over the years for so long, I always found myself, if I really wanted something big to happen, I had to make it happen myself. That's never been true in Rotary. I just get more and more enamored with Rotary because no matter what it is that we have to do, it gets done. And it gets done without it feeling like it's been a chore or that you've had to put anything else off in life. It was when I was at RCC, I wanted to bring up, I was a part of a peer counseling group that had just started where we were empowered and learned to be in service to other students. And Greg Fishwick was one of the leaders of this group. He was a counselor at the school. And he was wonderful, just like he is now. And I owe him a debt of gratitude for his part in my growth as a person. And I also met my dear friend, David West, who's one of my closest brothers now for more like 40 years. And it was a life-changing event for me too. But going down to my series of events in my life, it seemed I have a lot of interesting jobs at the beginning. I worked through work study at the Boys and Girls Clubs. I came in touch with a lot of youngsters there that I've watched grow up. I drove a school bus for District 7 and ran into a lot of youngsters there that I've watched grow up. I went to work for the CPA who taught my tax class, and that's where I ended up going into my career as a tax consultant, enrolled agent. I was an office manager for 2 different river outfitters and learned a lot about the rivers. And I had an interesting picture, that got taken of me going on my maiden trip down the road. Started off with me going over Rainy Falls, and the raft that you see down here, I was in that raft. It just so happened somebody happened to be taking pictures of their friends that were going to go over, and that was the summer solstice of 1978. I ended up, it seemed like there was a lot of time in between all of what had happened, but we bought our home in 1977. We moved into it in January of 78. It was just a house and 3 acres at the time, but it's where we still are. And we ended up, this is me, my business is my very first office, my second office, and then my last office. And I loved the job. I thought I was going to miss it a whole lot more when I retired, but I don't miss it at all. I am so glad there's other people that are having to go through this COVID mess trying to do taxes. And I'm going to send one of those roses and something sweet to Bela Toledo, because I know the people in their office doing taxes need to know that they're loved. This is my various staff as the years have gone by. So we started buying our forest land. Our house in 3 acres was up in a little section up here. And we ended up buying 40 acres here, which is where we have our camps. And then down here is 172. And then we bought 150 over here. And then within this section, the little 3 acres we had is in here, but then we bought another 10 in here. We have 375 acres now. I've lived in a forest ever since I've been in Oregon. I love having the responsibility of taking care of a forest. I think our forests are very, very important. I've been actively managing our forest and actually have awards for it for all of these years that I've been doing it, over 35. And they say the proof is in the pudding. And I used to catch flack for my very conservative kids for putting the time and money that I did into our land, since I wasn't logging or taking anything down to make money. But when we had the Taylor Creek fire 3 years ago, they were able to stop the fire at our property line after they assessed our property and realized that they could fight it because of our management practices. So I thought, okay, here we are. I am going to make sure that I get my management techniques out there for the rest of the world to know about. So I've been really involved with teaching forestry and working with the Rogue Workforce and Project Youth Plus, and teaching young people all the different kinds of jobs that exist in the forest and careers, and just how much our forests, how important they are and how valuable they are and how we need to care for them. So forests and kids and Rotary and good people in our community, these are all things that have been so very important to me. And I'm still doing okay. One of the things that happened back not long after I joined Rotary, Phil Hart moved onto our property. He lived there for 18 years before he passed away. And Phil Hart, as I mentioned earlier, was responsible for talking me into coming into Rotary. And it also reminds me that I have all of his clothes that I've had for the over 10 years since he's been gone, because he didn't want his clothes to go to organizations that helped people that were down, that had to listen to them preach whatever, the religions. So I didn't give it to the Gospel Rescue Mission or anything like that, but I'm thinking he would love his clothes because he bought really good, sturdy clothes. He was an outdoorsman. I think he would love his clothes on some of these men up in Wolf Creek. So I've got to remember to get those out and to somebody. Not long after Phil came to our property, Grandma Aggie Pilgrim came into my life right about the time I needed a mother to teach me how to become a good elder, because my mother was a very self-centered person, strong but self-centered, and I needed a mother that was more into what was happening to the rest of the world and the rest of creation. And Grandma Aggie was always a supporter of what she would call the voice for the voiceless, clean water, and the standing people, the trees. And she lived there for 10 years until her own children came back into her life. And it was time for her to move on and become one of the 13 Indigenous grandmothers. And she passed away a couple of years ago, and her spirit has come back into my life and asked me to do things. And there's going to be a program in 2 weeks about a book that was written after her teachings that has become also a curriculum for teaching young people about the forest and nature and the wild. And I wanted to find out from the lady that wrote it just what was involved, and if there was some way I could incorporate it into my camps. And I asked for a Zoom meeting, which turned into becoming a sacred circle of grandmothers. And you'll be hearing about this program, but I'm feeling Grandma Aggie asking me to get out there and help get her word out there. Wake Up World is one of her books. So I think that's going to be a part of what I continue to be doing. And within this period, I'd never gotten my bachelor's degree. I started at RCC. I took lots of classes. I wanted to go on, but I ended up starting my business and couldn't move away to go to a four-year college. And then they started distance ed. So I was able to go to Eastern Oregon, and I ended up getting my degree in 2004. So just in time for me to retire if I wanted to, but I didn't really want to. And I felt my degree was teaching me more to be a wise elder and how to help children become the best version of themselves and find what it is they have to offer the world. And that's part of what camps are all about. Very first camp we had was in 2001, and it was with Native American youth, and it was through Southern Oregon University Native American Studies. David West had several students in it. We taught them Indigenous forest management, which was sort of the beginning of my Indigenous forest management on our property. And it is now returning in at full strength in the camps that we're having. We're having our second on-ramp camp. Was on-ramp to forestry. It is now on-ramp to natural resource management, which I love even more. Our leadership camp started in 2007, and I started doing camps for College Dreams, which has become Project Youth Plus, back in 2011. So I continued the camps. This PowerPoint was stressing the camps more because I was trying to buy in for help from my fellow Rotarians in running these camps. But this presentation is more to talk about just what a wonderful, wonderful experience being a Rotarian has been for me. And I hope it can be a wonderful, wonderful experience for the rest of you. There's so many young, vibrant people that are in our club. I love watching the young people being born, the young children. Josie Malloy, it's just such a joy to see her kids being born. I can remember when Jolynn was having her children and watching them grow up. And now Matt's graduating high school. He's president of his Interact Club. He was supposed to go to Ryla until COVID showed up. But I love the fact that Rotary is family oriented, and we have our own children that we can work with, as well as so many of these other children out there in the community that it takes a village or a community to raise our children. And I think we're doing a good job of it. I probably 12:54. What do you think?
Let's take some questions. I know Chris Walker's on the call too.
Oh, Chris is on the call. Oh, that's wonderful. Chris, I miss you. And I'm going to send you a bunch of pictures. Chris is, the Walkers are just a perfect example of the wonderful people that.
I'm going to shut this, not shut down, but I'm just going to.
Okay. All right. Get that.
Okay.
Okay. So the Walker family is just an amazing family. And last year I had the express pleasure of Chris coming to work for me during his gap year. I can't get that off. For 14 months till he had to move to Amsterdam, and he told me, you want to get that off? That he's coming back this summer, and I can hardly wait, because he has helped me talk about wonderful young people and how they can help an old person that's still trying to be vital. Chris is the epitome of that. So, and he's the one that garnered a whole bunch of support for our camps last year. But yes, please, let's have some questions. Now, you're going to need to help me.
Well, see, I'll help you out here.
Yeah.
Okay, Jody's got a question.
Okay. Do you want me to?
You go ahead and stay there. I'll kind of watch.
Okay.
I'll stand by you.
I actually was just giving a thumbs up to Brenda and how awesome she is.
Great.
And I was just talking about Jody the other day with my husband, how she was just a fresh kid out of high school when we started banking at the bank that she had started working at. And
That's
she
funny.
was this vibrant, animal loving person that she still is after all of these years. So yes, Jody, thank you.
It's hard for me to see. Does John Jones have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, John. What? You're another one from way back.
There we go.
Cool.
Yeah.
RCC.
You talk about your forest management, and you also talk about your connection with the Native American community. Do you use their burning style to keep your forest open?
To a certain degree. I mean, I use the good sense that they use. It'd been over 100 years before since their management techniques were even part of it. But when Aggie came into my life, and Forest Service was starting to believe in burning, but they were burning by starting fires with napalm. And I contacted the Forest Service and didn't get what I normally would have gotten, which is just a big turnoff. I said, the grandmothers did the burning, and they did it with a sensitivity to the land and what they were doing. And all of a sudden, it became accepted conventional wisdom. So yes, a lot of it is. And when we had our first class camp in 2001, we had Native foresters that were bringing back the old Native ways, teaching a lot of the program. That answer?
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, Deb's got a question. Or
Deb.
Hi, Brenda.
Hi.
I think you said you were going to, and I might have missed this part. You were going to start another school, an outdoor school at the.
We were ready to do it. It was supposed to be a trade. They were going to trade energy in the forest for allowing them to be there. And it became real evident that the young women that were putting this together did not have the time to put that kind of time and energy in. And at the last minute, I came up with, Grandma Aggie had a great grandson that really needed some specific energy put into him and his education. And I said, I'll trade use of the forest if you will take him in and cover his tuition. And we were going to do it until the last minute. They said, we don't have room for him. And I said, we're ready to start. So just put me down that you owe me this much in value somehow in trade that you can come up with. And they didn't like it. They thought that I was going to make them pay money, and they went off to something else. I just happened to look at a video today, a live video where the gal that's teaching the kids was taking them on a hike. They're doing wonderful. It's great. It is happening. It's just not happening at our place. But I was real disappointed when Kamari couldn't get in. And there was a lady that was working with him, and she called me. She says, I heard he's going to outdoor school up there. And I said, it just all fell through today. And I said, I wish there was something I could do for him. And she had taken him under her wing and started teaching him herself, taking him outdoors. She was also an Aikido teacher for young people. And I started working with her, and something is happening there, but she's the one that turned me on to this Upriver to Morning program, which I'm going to incorporate into the camps. And so that's what it sort of grew into something better and bigger, which happens if you let go of the disappointment. So we're still making sure kids are getting the outdoor experience and just in a different way. It would have been very hard on my neighbors. That was a real difficult thing, is that there were some neighbors that did not want 50 cars coming in and out 4 days a week, 9 months out of the year. And so
It sounds like it worked out.
it always works out. Thank you. And just thank you for being you.
Okay.
Any other?
Caver.
Favor.
I believe you're on mute, Caver.
Yeah, you done me? Yeah.
I think my hand was raised from
Okay,
a long time ago. Sorry.
no
Still
problem.
learning the technology.
We all are. Okay, well, I think we're good to go. Let's switch places here, Brenda.
Okay, great. Thank you all very, very much.
Okay. Well, thank you, Brenda. That was a marvelous presentation. It also brought back a lot of great memories of our Rotary and our lives together. So thank you very much for that. So we are now going to move into a section for the birthdays and anniversaries. Birthday, Pat Bath, February 8th. Anniversary, Dawn Welch, 20 years in our Rotary Club. And Susan Fisher Mackey and Todd Moran, 1 year. So thank you for those wonderful memories of growing up with our Rotary Club together. James, would you like to Sergeant at Arms this week?
Certainly.
Thank you.
You ready?
Yeah,
we have some happy bucks from out there. I'm sure you guys have some happy bucks to give today, and I too would like to echo Steve and thank Brenda very much. I mean, her inspiration is unbelievable. And I met her in the mid to late 70s around here. I was still Earthman then from a school I worked at, and she still calls me that. It's unbelievable. But, you know, 40 or 45 of admiration for the woman who still has more energy than most of us. And okay, it's a beautiful sunny day. The groundhog says 1 day less than 6 weeks more of winter. And so does anybody out there have any happy bucks? I see John Jones with a hand up. Is that true?
I think that was his question for Brenda.
I have happy bucks, James. This is Debbie Amin.
Okay, go for it, Debbie. I see your hand.
Thank you. Hi. I have 30 happy bucks in honor of our 30th anniversary, and part of it is for Brenda. I too am I am not worthy. I'm not worthy. I always am amazed when I listen to her stories. So and he had a parade from his school to the park where they played Capture the Flag, and he wore this huge Mexican hat marching through the streets. And then he ended up at their house where our son had decorated the backyard with prayer flags, Mexican flags, lights, and they had this outside party in 34 degrees temperature of all these little boys jumping in and out of the hot tub and lots of steam. So lots of happiness all over the place. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Gina Marie, do you have your hand up?
I do. I wanted to give 30 bucks as well in honor of Brenda's 30 years in Rotary and how amazing she is.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. She is incomparable. Janie, I think you had something. Give happy bucks, Janie.
Yes, I do, James. So let's see. I'm going to start with 5 happy bucks for Brenda because she's the most enthusiastic Rotary ambassador that I've ever known. And she inspires me every time I hear her talk about Rotary. So thank you, Brenda. I've got 5 happy bucks for Steve Rowe because his back page of the sneak preview that came out this week just touched my heart. I thought I've been on a walk with Steve and we've run into his homeless friend. And I was there and we chatted with him, and he's a cool guy. And I love how Steve shared his story and made Foundry Village come alive for a lot of people. A lot of people got to see what it really means. So great job, Steve. I have 5 happy bucks because my mom's 83rd birthday is this weekend, and I'm taking her to the coast for the weekend because all of you keep going to the coast and posting these beautiful pictures, and I couldn't stand it anymore. So I said, Mom, I'm taking you to the coast for your birthday. So thanks, you guys. And then finally, I have 5 more happy bucks because after a lot of months of hard work, tonight the Olympics start in prime with the opening ceremony tomorrow night. And we're just really excited. We've been working hard. It's going to be a different kind of Olympics, of course, because everything's different these days, or many things are. But I hope you'll all tune in and watch. And I'm excited that we're finally here. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Janie. And yeah, everybody's reminded, please read Steve's article on the back of this week's sneak preview. A fantastic article. I think it's Claudia Sullivan. Do you have your hand up?
Yep, I do. I have 50 happy bucks because I spent a couple of days out at the coast, Janie, and it was wonderful with 8 women who were there and 3 women that we Zoomed with, and it was a lovely time, and I'm very grateful for it and grateful for my friendships and grateful to be able to spend that time there. So anyway, that's what my 50 happy bucks are for.
Well, thanks very much, Claudia. Dawn, do you have something?
Yes, I do. I will do a 30 happy bucks, honoring Brenda and honoring our wonderful club, but also because it is so good to see Chris Walker on this call. Chris, you are an inspiration as well as Grandma Brenda. So there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. I don't see any more hands unless somebody else does. Wait.
Bev.
Bev?
I have happy bucks because I get to see Chris's face. That makes me happy. And then Brenda, 30 bucks for Brenda's 30 years. That was a wonderful presentation. I love 10 bucks for Wynn's beginning moments, asking us and giving us moments to be thankful for our friends and whatever past week's joy it has been. And there's been a lot this week. And 10 for Steve's back page. That brought tears to my eyes, which Steve is really good at that.
Yeah, it was awesome. Chris, you have something to say?
Yeah. I'm gonna do happy bucks of $4. I don't have much money, but I have 4 things I'm really happy about today. I'm really happy to have seen Brenda, heard her voice, and I'm really happy to work for her again this summer. I'm happy for things here in Amsterdam and things improving after kind of a hard winter and a hard lockdown. I was happy to see my mom. I don't know where my dad is, but I'm happy for my having such a supportive family. And I got a really nice box sent all the way from Grants Pass from them today. And then I'm happy to see this whole Rotary Club. You guys have been so supportive for me. You sent me on exchange, etc. There's my dad. So
thank you very much, Chris, and it's good to see you too. It just made our day. I don't think I have any more hands. And if that's the case.
Like there. Oh, that's an old one. Is that an old one, Caber?
No, it's not an old one this time.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna match Chris times 10 for everything that you said. Thank you.
Thanks, Caver's iPad.
That means a lot. Caleb.
Okay, well, thank you guys. And back to you, Steve.
Okay. Well, I want to also put in $30, and also I want to pay for Christmas. You know, if Chris, you want to send your money in, that's fine, but I know what being in college is like too. And you can save your money or you can contribute, your choice, but I'll also kick in your $4 as well as just the $30 for our club for 30 years. And just a marvelous group of Rotarians that are here. I mean, it's just amazing. I just love the history. And today was like reminiscing when I saw Brenda's charter number, and I remember coming on as secretary so many years ago, 30 years ago. So it was great. So Thoughts for the Week is by Paul Harris. I thought this was a good one because it talks about the changes that are going to be required. And so we talked about the history of Rotary, but also this thought for the week I think is so appropriate. I would like to think about the pioneering days of Rotary have only just begun. There are just as many new things to be done as there ever were. There are so many changes taking place, many of them without our will. Even to hang on to the fringe of this fast-changing world is what all of us most can do. Rotary must simply continue to be pioneer or be left in the rear of progress. And when you think of Paul Harris, who started Rotary in 1905, that those were maybe not the words of 1905, but obviously the words of many years ago. And for him to have the forethought to look ahead and to say that we need to change. At the same time, we need to remember what our traditions are so important. So with that, I think we will adjourn the meeting. Okay. Okay, and with that, have a great week. We'll see everybody next Thursday, if not before. And we'll also stay on if anybody wants to have our meeting after the meeting.
Thanks, Steve. Awesome as usual.
Thank you.
Excellent. Steve, thank you so much for being Brenda's buddy and helping, make this happen as far as the bandwidth and everything. Brenda, you are awesome. You absolutely rock. Totally. Just awesome. That was wonderful.
I gotta go, but it was great to see your face, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, good to see you.
So good to see all your guys' faces.
Yeah.
You have an Olympic event, Danny?
What's that?
You have an Olympic event?
Yeah, I'm gonna be competing in non-stop studying marathon tomorrow.
Studying marathon.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I have to go. I have some avails left for tomorrow night and I gotta go fill them really quick. So
Go
bye,
get 'em.
everybody.
Go get 'em,
Bye,
Jamie.
Jamie.
Remember your friend Steve when you come to avails, okay?
I think there might be an added value spot in Steve's future.
Oh, man.
So you
Well,
guys, look, Steve has some new commercials he shot. So look for those in the Olympics.
All right.
If you
All
want some
right.
exact times, I'll let you know.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Do it.
Okay, I will.
All
Okay,
right,
bye,
good.
everybody.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Janie. Good luck.
Bye, Jamie.
Thanks.
I gotta go too. Thanks again. Awesome meeting.
Bye, Debbie. Hey,
Bye.
Chris, you are 9 hours ahead, right?
Yep.
So it's almost 10
How
o'clock.
are things going for you at school?
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. I failed one course, microeconomics, but I get to resit it in a few months. So
Good for you.
it'll be fine. Yeah.
You know what? My failures, I've always learned so much more from my failures than I ever have from my successes.
Yeah.
The same applied to Thomas Edison, apparently.
That's right.
Learned whatever it was, 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
That's not a failure. No, it was just another learning opportunity.
I can
Chris-
barely say the word microeconomics. So there you go, Chris.
Yeah, and why do we have to learn about what elves do anyway?
They're responsible for Christmas.
Yeah.
Right, there's a financial.
Actually, Chris, I was going to give you, there are 2 podcasts that might help you, really. There's one called Planet Money. They're NPR podcasts. One's called Planet Money. And it's about 20 or so minutes every episode, and they usually are talking about like the supply chain problem and how, how all that works, et cetera. And then there's a spinoff from that called Planet Money Indicator. The indicator takes an economic indicator like unemployment or inflation or whatever, and talks about how it's trending and how it affects the economy and things. So that might be a bit macroeconomic for you, but
I'll have that too.
those
soon.
stuff, yeah.
So, that's helpful. Yeah. Thank you.
You have a good source of